What's up, guys? Just thought I'd bring you a 4.32 Cataclysm Elemental Shaman DPS guide. This will be a guide for the newer people who don't know how to spec into an elemental right now, and this will be a two-part guide. First part being of the actual talents themselves, and then part 2 will be comprised of the actual glyphs themselves. So let's jump right into it. We'll go into put 3 points into acuity, which increases the critical strike chance with all spells and attacks by 3%. Then put 2 into concussion, which increases the damage done by a lightning bolt, chain lightning, thunderstorm, lava burst, and your shock spells by 4%. Don't worry, we will be going more into this later on. Then what you want to do is put 2 into reverberation, reduce the cooldown of your shock spells by one, and wind shear by 10 seconds. Now that is extremely helpful, and that is one of the fastest interrupts in the game. Then put 1 back into concussion, and put 2 into Call of Flame, which increases the damage done by a Fire Totem's Fire Nova, and the damage done by a Lava Burst by 10%. That's very important. We need Lava Burst. Next, put 2 into Elemental Reach, which increases the range of your Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, Fire Nova, and Lava Burst spells by 10 yards, and increases the range of your Shock spells and Searing Totem by 15 yards. Very important, that as well. Put 1 into Elemental Focus, which after landing a non-periodic critical strike with a Fire, Frost, Nature, or Nature damage spell, you enter a clear casting state. The clear casting state reduces the mana cost of the next 2 damaging or healing spells by 40%. Now, this used to be, back in 4.0 and previous versions, it used to be free. The next 2 damage or healing spells would cost 0 mana. But obviously they nerfed that down to 40%, which is still good. Now put 2 into Rolling Thunder. Very important, this one. When you deal damage with Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, while Lightning Shield is active, you have a 60% chance to recover 2% of your maximum mana and generate an additional lightning charge up to a maximum of 9 charges. Very important, that talent. Put 2 into Elemental Oath. While clear casting from Elemental Focus is active, you deal 10% more spell damage. In addition, party and raid members within 100 yards receive a 5% bonus to their critical strike chance. That's very important. Well, it's not very important, however it is important. Put 3 into Lava Flows. Increases the critical strike chance bonus of your Lava Burst by an additional 24%. And the periodic damage of your Flame Shock by 60%. In addition, when your Flame Shock is dispelled, you gain 90% spell haste for 6 seconds. Now this is one of those PvE or PvP kind of talents. If you're going into PvP, you would want to do this. You want to take this because if you're in an arena and a healer gets rid of it, well, then you increase your haste by 90%. Put 1 into Elemental Mastery. When this is activated, your next Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, or Lava Burst spell becomes an instant cast. In addition, your Fire, Frost, and Nature damage is increased by 50%, and you gain 20% spell haste for 15 seconds. That's very good. And Fulmination. When you have more than 3 lightning charges active, your Earth Shock spell will consume any surplus charges, which means anything over 3 charges, instantly dealing their total damage to the enemy target. That is best when it's at 9 charges for the maximum amount of damage. Put 1 into Totemic Wrath, which causes your Fire Totems, all Fire Totems in fact, to increase the spell power of your party and raid members by within 100 yards. So effectively it is a Flame Tongue actual totem. However, you might not want to have Flame Tongue out. If you're in a PvP state, or if you really need it, put 2 into Earth's Grasp. Where when you have your Earthbind totem up, it has 100% chance to actually root to a nearby enemy for by 100 bloody percent. But I don't need that, so I don't put in there. Now put 2 into Convection, which reduces the mana cost of your freaking damage offensive spells by 10%. Very good, that. Or if you don't want to go into that, you can put 2 into either elemental and precision, which increases your fire, frost, and nature damage by 1, or if you go into all 3 by 3, and grants your spell hit rating equal to 100% of your spirit gains from all items or effects. Now I don't need that because I don't use spirit. Or you can put 2 into elemental bloody warding, which reduces the magical damage taken by 4%. Now put 3 into feedback. When your lightning bolt and chain lightning spells reduce the remaining cooldown of your elemental mastery talent by 3 seconds. Now this is extremely important, especially in PvE environment. If you're in PvP, well, it's not that important, but in PvE it's extraordinarily important. Put 2 into Lava Surge. Gives your Flame Shock a periodic damage ticks as a 20% chance to reset the cooldown of your Lava Burst spell. This is very important, especially on any form of a boss. Now, put 1 into Earthquake, which is an AoE attack, which causes 1,224 blood damage every 0.8 of a second to any enemy within 8 yards, with a 10% chance of knocking down affected targets that would be used in PvP. Alright, now you want to put 3 into Improved Shields, which increases the damage done by a lightning orbs, which is what we need because we will be getting the buff from Fulmination. Put 2 into Elemental Weapons. Then, which just increases the Flame Tongue effectiveness by 40. Now, these, hang on, you can put these five from improved and elemental weapons. These are all optional. I'm doing what is best for a PvE environment. As well, could potentially be used in PvP. But I go with Ancestral Swiftness and 2 into Totemic Reach. Now you will have 1 point left over. This point you can chuck it in anywhere you want. Doesn't really matter because every other spell is maxed out. So you can say chuck it into Elemental Warding or Earth's Grasp, or maybe even Elemental. But I find the best one would be in Elemental Warding, which just reduces the magical damage taken by 4%. Now that would be the PvE environment that will get you pretty much at the top of every 5-man kind of dungeon at this point in view, where 9 times out of 10 you'll be at the very top. Now going on with glyphs.